More than 24 hours have passed since the heinous crime was perpetrated by the Islamist mob in the Sambhal district of Uttar Pradesh. The ensuing violence claimed the lives of 4 writers and left several policemen injured. But as usual, the ecosystem is having field days differentiating between the shade of blood spilled in the gory Islamist attack. Hello and welcome to Think for India. I'm your host Polish Gupta. In this video, we will delve deeper into the stage 2 of Islamist toolkit. Let's begin. It is extremely disturbing to note the bigoted commentary by the Islamist ecosystem, including the ones who masquerade as humanist, principled journalists, and caretakers of the Indian Constitution. All they did was resort to whitewashing the crime of Islamist mob, omitting the injuries to 20 policemen, communal dog whistling, and victim of how unsafe Muslims are in India and how democracy is in danger. For them, the country's secularistic credentials would have flourished well if the casualty figures had been reversed. However, in such a case, the bloodthirsty ecosystem, journalists, and leaders would be sitting silently on their couches taking a sip of coffee in chilling winters. The incident that took place in Sambhal is not normal, but the question still lingers as to why stone pelting has become the first page in the Islamist playbook. And more importantly, how were such a huge quantity of stones accumulated at short notice? The administration, which was at the receiving end only for complying with the court order, can see the pattern and accordingly ban accumulating stones and buying explosive materials. However, alleged journalists like Arfa Khanam Sherwani and Rana Ayub and leaders like Asaduddin Owaisi and Chandrasekhar Ravan, to name a few, deliberately ignore these questions. While they project themselves as secularism ke chaudhary, they brazenly resort to communal bigotry, and for these usual suspects, the shade of blood matters the most. Fact can die its excruciating death. For these propagandists, a Hindu journalist merely reporting on the Ram Mandir consecration becomes a bigoted Hindu. But Arfa Khanam and Ayub whitewashing Islamist crime remains paragon of secularism and principled journalism. Needless to highlight here, the survey of the disputed structure claimed to be Shahi Masjid by the Muslim side was ordered by the court of civil judges. The state or the union government had nothing to do with it. Still, the Islamist ecosystem has been needlessly dragging CM Yogi and PM Modi and targeting them. Is this how they want democracy to flourish? The Wire's propagandist Arfa went on to label the court as Sanghi, adding that her co-religionist did a favor by accepting the Ayodhya verdict with a big heart. She forgot that back then the wannabe Masiha of Muslims, Asaduddin Owaisi, had said, and I quote, "I want my masjid back," unquote. The Wire propagandist forgot to mention that the Muslim side had kicked every measure of compromise and took the battle to the last, and even lamented after the verdict and challenged it to no avail. In her tirade, she also went on to target former CGI Chandrachud for the verdict on Gyanvapi. Ironically, her whole ecosystem was lauding CGI when he assumed charge. But just because he took a sincere approach to delivering justice and not pander to the Islamist ecosystem, he is now the bad guy for this cabal. Another Islamist propagandist, Rana Ayub, did not pull back in shielding her co-religionists. She also pinned the blame on former CGI D.Y. Chandrachud. Spearheading the Islamist ecosystem, Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi also raised questions about the Uttar Pradesh police. Meanwhile, another notorious politician, Chandrasekhar Ravan, did the same. It is pertinent to note that the rampant Islamist attacks and development thereafter exposed a well-oiled nexus and a clear-cut pattern of Islamist toolkit, which has been a dead giveaway. The stage 1 of this includes the brazen Islamist attack to shield any accused or protect illegal structures, or further the bigoted boundary often dubbed in the phrase Muslim area or no-go zones for Hindu religious processions, among others. Now stage 2 incorporates the activation of the Islamist sleeper cells that provide a shield for their co-religionists by resorting to whitewashing tactics, blowing communal dog whistling, and flaunting the overused Muslim victimhood narrative. The thing is, they cannot speak on facts, only on pure communal rhetoric and falsehoods. The people of India must not fall into their trap, as this gang is activated at a very large scale and dominates social media. The police have categorically noted that they fired plastic pellets and they shot in the air to disperse the crowd. These propagandists are using those visuals with fake claims that the police opened fire on Muslims because that would provide a backseat to the fact that hate-monger Islamists ambushed the survey team from 3 sides and pelted stones. They also opened fire on police, which is on record. For what is left, the Islamo-leftist cabal have painted the police and courts as Sanghi. Incidentally, notorious for its anti-India stance, the BBC also used the same image of a policeman as the feature image of this story. Even more disheartening is that these usual suspects are labelled as secular. How ridiculous. Despite being more hardline and bigoted than others in their respective fields. Sambhal violence is a testament that whatever ill the Islamist forces do and however fanatically they attack state institutions, there is an ecosystem, or shall I say Islamist sleeper cell, that is all geared up to not only defend them but also whitewash their crimes.